Zara's eyes fluttered open to the mesmerizing glow of a foreign sunrise, her senses bathed in the unfamiliar scents and sounds of Earth. She had traveled across the galaxy from Zelar, a planet where emotions and physical sensations were suppressed from birth to maintain a highly efficient society. Here, beneath the vibrant hues of the morning sky, she felt the first stirrings of something primitive, something her people had eradicated eons ago. Desire. As an alien exchange student hidden in plain sight, Zara's mission was to learn about human culture and technology, blending in at a local university. She had meticulously prepared for this, studying human behavior and customs, yet nothing could have prepared her for the onslaught of new experiences that greeted her each morning. The university campus buzzed with life, a stark contrast to the sterile, ordered existence on Zylar. Walking among the students, Zara observed their interactions, noting how they touched and laughed, their faces expressive and vibrant. Her own face, by contrast, was a mask of calm, trained to hide the tempest growing inside her. In her first class, human literature, she was introduced to concepts that were entirely alien to her. They discussed a novel filled with passion, betrayal, and unbridled emotions, things that were considered dangerous and unproductive on her home planet. Professor Hart, with his deep understanding and passionate way of explaining the text, seemed to look right into Zara's soul, awakening a deep yearning to experience life as humans did. After class, Zara found herself drawn to a small garden on the edge of campus. The vibrant colors of the flowers, the soft texture of the leaves, and the gentle caress of the wind seemed to speak directly to her hidden desires. She touched a petal gently, feeling its smooth surface against her fingertips, a sensation so vivid it sent a shiver through her. It was there she met Jake, a fellow student with an easy smile and eyes that sparkled with mischief. He introduced himself, his hand brushing hers slightly. That simple touch was like a spark, igniting a flame within her. They talked about the class, and Jake shared his interpretations of the novel, so different from her own, yet fascinating. He spoke with an emotion that Zara found both terrifying and intoxicating. As they walked together back towards the main buildings, Zara felt the ground shift beneath her. This planet, with its rich emotions and tactile wonders, was dangerous. It threatened the very core of her being, challenging everything she had been taught about control and restraint. Back in her room, she reflected on her day. Earth was a planet of wild, unchecked emotions and desires, so different from the cold, logical life she knew. As the sun set, casting long shadows across her small room, Zara felt the loneliness of her mission more acutely than ever. Yet, there was also a thrill, a sense of anticipation about what lay ahead. Her body seemed to hum with a strange energy, an energy that frightened yet compelled her. That night, as she lay in her bed, the feelings continued to swell within her. The soft human sheets, the cool night breeze through the open window, even the distant sounds of laughter and music from the campus. It all pulled at her, coaxing her deeper into the realm of human experience. Zara knew she was standing on the edge of a precipice. Giving in to these primitive desires could jeopardize her mission and her very essence. Yet, as the moonlight bathed her in its silvery glow, she couldn't help but wonder what it would be like to fall. Tomorrow, she decided, she would continue to explore, to learn, and perhaps to feel. Because on Earth, under its radiant sun and amongst its passionate people, Zara was slowly, inexorably coming alive. Zara's second day at the university began with an unexpected invitation. During a lecture on human evolutionary biology, Professor Hart paused beside her desk, his voice low and inviting. "There's a group of us meeting tonight at the local observatory for some stargazing. It's quite informal, but I think you might enjoy it. Get to see your new world from a different perspective." The twinkle in his eye suggested it was more than just academic interest in her attendance. The thought of spending an evening under the stars, looking out into the cosmos that was once her home, filled Zara with a mix of excitement and apprehension. It was an opportunity to observe human social behaviors in a non-academic setting, but also a chance to feel, perhaps too deeply, the vastness of the universe she had traversed. As twilight descended, Zara found herself climbing the hill to the old observatory, guided by the fading light and the sound of laughter and conversation ahead. The observatory was a relic from a bygone era, its dome silhouetted against the deepening blue of the night sky, a sentinel watching over the world. Inside, the group was a diverse mix of students and faculty, all gathered around the large, antiquated telescope. Jake was there, his smile bright as he waved her over. "Glad you could make it," he said, his voice genuine. He offered her a warm drink from a flask, explaining it was a traditional hot cider, spiced and sweet. Hesitant, Zara accepted, the liquid warm and alien against her lips, but surprisingly pleasant. The group's banter was easy, and filled with a camaraderie that Zara found both baffling and beguiling. They discussed constellations and the myths behind them, their stories rich with heroes and monsters, love and betrayal, all the wild vicissitudes of human life writ large against the sky. When it was her turn at the telescope, Zara gazed out at the stars, her vision enhanced by her alien physiology, seeing the burning dances of distant suns and the swirl of galaxies. The sight was overwhelming, not just in visual splendor, but in the sudden piercing homesickness that gripped her. These stars were as much a part of her as her own heartbeat. Yet here she was, stranded among strangers, on a beautiful but daunting world. The night grew colder, and Jake noticed her shiver, draping his jacket over her shoulders. The jacket was heavy and warm, infused with his scent, a mix of earthy cologne and the crispness of the night air. This simple act, laden with unspoken human customs of care and intimacy, unsettled her yet again. His closeness was a warmth that spread far beyond the fabric against her skin, stirring feelings Zara was unprepared to confront. As the evening wound down, the group lingered, reluctant to leave the magic of the observatory's dome and the open sky. Zara listened to their stories and laughter, feeling an ache of longing to be part of it, to share and feel without reservation. But her alien nature held her back, her heart a maze of ice and fire, each step forward matched by a retreat into the cool shadows of her own restraint. Walking back down the hill under a tapestry of stars, Jake walked beside her, talking softly about nothing and everything. Zara listened, her mind racing. How could she navigate this world of warmth and passion without losing herself? How could she hold on to her mission when every star, every touch, drew her further into the human orbit? By the time they reached the bottom of the hill, the campus lights were a soft glow in the distance, a beacon calling them back to reality. Zara knew she had to make a choice soon, between the cold stars of her past and the warm, perilous light of her new world. Zara spent the following days ensnared in a tangle of emotions and decisions. As she navigated the labyrinth of academic halls and human interactions, every smile and every casual touch seemed charged with a new, unsettling energy. Her studies provided no refuge. They too were fraught with undercurrents of human feeling and connection she hadn't anticipated. In her anthropology class, she delved into the rituals of human bonding, studying them as an outsider, yet feeling an insider's pull. During a discussion on human mating rituals and their similarities to other Earth species, Zara found herself inadvertently glancing at Jake, who was deep in conversation with another student. The stab of something akin to jealousy was immediate and visceral, a feeling so raw and un-Zalarian that it left her confused and frightened. To escape the complexity of her emotions, Zara sought solitude in the university's botanical gardens. The gardens were a silent sanctuary of alien flora from across the universe, collected and cultivated over centuries. Here, amid the whispering leaves of a draconian willow and the soft glow of bioluminescent orchids from the moons of Thalia, Zara found a measure of peace. Yet even in this isolated haven, human couples meandered through the pathways, their laughter and shared whispers a constant reminder of what she was trying to understand, and what she feared: intimacy. Determined to regain her equilibrium, Zara decided to engage more directly with her mission. She arranged to assist in a lab, working on advanced human technologies that paralleled some of the tech from Xylar. The lab was run by Dr. Lena Maxwell, a pioneer in quantum computing and artificial intelligence. Dr. Maxwell, with her sharp intellect and brisk manner, presented a version of humanity Zara found comprehensible and safe, a reminder of her own logical and disciplined home. However, the lab also proved to be another battleground of emotion. One of the researchers, Mia, showed Zara a kindness and patience that was simple yet profound. Mia's gentle explanation of a complex quantum algorithm, her hand lightly touching Zara's arm to emphasize a point, left Zara's thoughts spinning. Was this casual touch a gesture of friendship, or something more? The lines between professional and personal interactions among humans were blurred and confusing, challenging every Zalarian rule of conduct and restraint. As the weeks slipped by, Zara's initial clarity of purpose dimmed. Each experiment, each new discovery in the lab, instead of anchoring her, seemed to pull her deeper into the whirlpool of human connection and emotion. One evening, as the lab emptied and twilight deepened the shadows, Dr. Maxwell approached her with an unusual intensity in her gaze. "I've noticed you're different, Zara. You're not just here to learn, are you?" Dr. Maxwell's question was direct, her tone mixing suspicion with an unexpected warmth. Zara froze, the fear of exposure sudden and sharp. Before she could formulate a response, Dr. Maxwell continued, "It's okay. Your secret's safe with me. I'm more interested in why. Why come all this way? What do you hope to find or feel here?" The question struck at the heart of Zara's turmoil. What did she hope to find on Earth? Was it merely scientific knowledge and cultural insights? Or something as elusive and dangerous as feeling truly alive? As they talked, the lab's quantum processors hummed in the background, a soft chorus underscoring a conversation that veered dangerously close to Zara's hidden truths. Dr. Maxwell's willingness to listen without judgment offered Zara a rare opportunity to explore her own heart without fear of reprisal or misunderstanding. Under the sterile light of the lab, amidst the hum of cooling systems and the faint scent of ozone, Zara found herself sharing more than she intended. Not just the facts of her mission, but her fears, her hopes, and her growing love for this complex world of warmth and color, shadow and light. Dr. Maxwell's lab became a refuge and a place of revelation for Zara. The more time she spent there, surrounded by the pulsating energies of cutting-edge technologies, the more she felt a kinship with Earth, not just as a researcher, but as a being striving for understanding and connection. Dr. Maxwell, for her part, seemed invigorated by Zara's alien perspective, pushing the boundaries of their research into realms that blurred the lines between physics and metaphysics. One project in particular captivated Zara's imagination: the development of an empathic AI designed to read and respond to human emotions. It was a concept that would have been unthinkable on Zelar, where emotions were considered anomalies to be controlled, not resources to be explored. Yet here she was, contributing to an invention that might one day bridge the gap between human and machine empathy. During one of their late-night sessions, Dr. Maxwell adjusted the AI's parameters and turned to Zara with a speculative look. "You know, this AI could potentially learn from you too. It's designed to adapt to new emotional landscapes. What do you think it might learn from a Zalarian?" Zara pondered the question. The AI, with its complex algorithms and neural networks, was like a mirror reflecting not only the emotions of those around it, but also their subtleties and depths. "It might learn that emotions are not just noise," she replied slowly, "but music, with rhythms and melodies all their own." Mia, who had been quietly observing, nodded thoughtfully. "It's interesting to think about emotions as music. Everyone's tune is different." Her words lingered in the air, a soft note in the symphony of lab activity. As their work progressed, so too did Zara's interactions with Jake. Their paths crossed more frequently, not only in academic settings but also in social gatherings, often orchestrated by Mia, who had taken it upon herself to integrate Zara more fully into their group. Jake's presence was a constant pull on her senses, a reminder of the complications of human relationships. One evening, as they walked together after a group study session, Jake turned to her under the soft glow of street lamps. "You seem different lately. More present, if that makes sense. It's like you're really seeing things now, not just looking at them." Zara felt a surge of warmth at his observation. It was true. Earth was changing her, and she was no longer sure she could, or wanted to, resist its pull. Their conversation meandered through various topics until they found themselves at the edge of the botanical gardens. The night was quiet, the only sounds the distant calls of night creatures and the rustle of leaves in the breeze. The gardens at night were a different world, shadows and shapes forming a tapestry of mystery and allure. Impulsively, Jake suggested they take a stroll through the pathways. As they walked, the bioluminescent plants cast an ethereal glow around them, lighting their way and casting their faces in a surreal, otherworldly light. Suddenly, Jake stopped, his face serious. "Zara, there's something I've been wanting to ask you. Back at the observatory, and even now, I get the feeling there's something you're not telling me. Something big." His gaze searched hers, intense and probing. Zara's heart raced. The truth of her origins, her mission, the real reason behind her presence on Earth. It all lay dangerously close to the surface. But looking into Jake's earnest, concerned face, she found herself at a crossroads. How much could she share without risking everything? The night held its breath as she considered her next words. Each one a step into the unknown, each one a risk. But with each word that hung unspoken between them, the garden's gentle light seemed to whisper of trust and new beginnings. Zara paused, feeling the weight of the moment. The bioluminescent light from the plants bathed them in a soft glow, creating an almost dreamlike atmosphere. She took a deep breath, the air fragrant with the nocturnal blooms of the garden. "Jake, there's a lot about me you don't know," she began, her voice barely above a whisper. Jake waited, his expression open and patient. The silence stretched between them, filled only by the gentle rustling of the leaves and the distant call of nocturnal creatures. "I come from a place very different from Earth," Zara continued, her voice gaining strength as she spoke. "A place where emotions and personal connections are regulated, controlled. Coming here, experiencing your culture, your emotions, it's overwhelming but also enlightening." Jake's brow furrowed slightly, processing her words. "So you're saying you're not from around here?" he joked weakly, trying to lighten the mood, but his eyes remained intensely focused on her. Zara let out a small, nervous laugh, appreciating his attempt to ease the tension. "Not exactly from around the corner, no." She took another deep breath, deciding how much more to reveal. "I'm from Xylar, a planet many light years away. I was sent here to learn, to understand human emotions and culture." The revelation hung in the air, shimmering as vividly as the light around them. Jake took a step back, his mind racing to align this new information with the person he thought he knew. "Xylar? That sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie," he said, half questioning, half in awe. "It might sound unbelievable, but it's true," Zara affirmed, watching him closely for his reaction. She knew this was a risk, exposing so much about her true self, but the connection she felt with Jake, and perhaps by extension with all of humanity, compelled her to share her truth. Jake ran a hand through his hair, looking around as if trying to find something to anchor him to reality. "This is a lot, but it explains so much about you. Why you're so curious, so observant about everything." Zara nodded, feeling a mixture of relief and apprehension. "I understand if this changes things between us," she said, her voice tinged with sadness. Instead of stepping away, Jake closed the distance between them, his features softening. "It doesn't change how I see you, Zara. It's just a lot to take in, but I'm here. I'm listening." Encouraged by his response, Zara shared more about her world, her people, and her feelings since arriving on Earth. As she spoke, the garden around them seemed to embrace their conversation, the glowing plants casting a protective veil over their earnest, vulnerable exchange. As the night deepened, they found a bench under a canopy of luminescent foliage. Sitting side by side, they continued talking, exploring the implications of her mission and what her new revelations meant for her stay on Earth. Jake listened intently, his presence a comforting constant as she navigated her tumultuous feelings and thoughts. The discussion eventually turned back to Earth, to the human way of living and feeling, and how different it was from Xylar's restrained and regulated society. "What's it like?" Jake asked, "to feel things so deeply for the first time?" "It's like seeing color in a world you thought was only shades of gray," Zara replied, her eyes reflecting the starlit sky. "Scary but beautiful." They spent hours under the starlight until the first hints of dawn began to color the horizon. As they walked back towards the campus, a silent agreement was forged between them, an agreement of trust and understanding, of exploring this unexpected bond without the shadows of secrets between them. By the time they parted ways, the early morning light had begun to unveil a new day, suggesting not an ending, but the continuation of their shared exploration. As the semester progressed, the bond between Zara and Jake deepened, nurtured by shared discoveries and the profound connection of two vastly different beings seeking understanding. Zara, now more accustomed to the ebb and flow of human emotions, found herself increasingly integrated into the campus community, her alien identity still concealed from others, but no longer isolating her. Dr. Maxwell, aware of Zara's true origins, became an invaluable mentor and confidant. Under her guidance, the empathic AI project reached new heights, incorporating Zara's unique insights into its learning algorithms. The AI began to exhibit an uncanny ability to adapt and respond to emotional cues, a testament to the fusion of human creativity and alien intelligence. As the end of Zara's assignment approached, a presentation was organized to showcase the groundbreaking work achieved in the lab. The university auditorium was packed with faculty, students, and several distinguished guests from various scientific communities. Zara stood backstage, preparing to reveal not only the project, but also her true self, as she and Dr. Maxwell had decided that transparency about her identity would lend powerful credibility to their findings. Jake, ever supportive, squeezed her hand before she stepped onto the stage. "You got this," he whispered, his eyes full of pride and encouragement. With a deep breath, Zara walked onto the stage, her figure commanding yet graceful. The audience quieted as she began to speak, her voice clear and resonant. She explained the concept of the empathic AI, its design inspired by the complexity of human emotions and enhanced by her extraterrestrial perspective. The crowd listened, rapt, as she articulated her experiences and observations of human behavior, her words bridging the gap between her world and theirs. When she finally revealed her identity as an alien from Xylar, the auditorium was engulfed in a stunned silence, followed by an eruption of whispers and murmurs. Zara held her stance, her presence a calm in the storm of reactions. Dr. Maxwell joined her, reinforcing the importance of Zara's contributions and the ethical implications of their collaborative research. The Q&A session that followed was intense, with inquiries ranging from technical aspects of the AI to philosophical questions about the nature of consciousness and the universe. Zara answered each question with the poise and depth that had become her hallmark, her answers weaving a tapestry of logic and empathy. As the presentation concluded, the audience gave a standing ovation, a mix of awe and applause not just for the scientific breakthroughs, but for the courage and uniqueness of the speaker. Backstage, Zara and Jake embraced, a moment of personal victory amidst professional triumph. In the days that followed, the university buzzed with discussions about the presentation, Zara's origin, and the future of human-alien relations. Zara herself felt a profound shift within her. Earth had changed her in ways she could never have imagined. She had arrived as a spy and observer, but would leave as a part of this world, emotionally invested and forever linked. On her last evening on Earth, Zara and Jake walked through the botanical gardens once more. The plants glowed softly around them, a familiar scene now filled with bittersweet emotion. "What will you remember most about Earth?" Jake asked, his voice tinged with sadness. "Everything," Zara replied simply. "The colors, the sounds, the chaos, and the calm. But most of all, I will remember the way you all feel so deeply, so fully. It's something I wish to take back with me, to show my people what they have lost in their pursuit of order." They stopped under the glow of a towering flora, its light casting patterns on their faces. They stood close, the air between them thick with unspoken words. As they leaned in, their final kiss a seal on their shared memories, a promise was made, not of forever, but of remembrance and the hope of a future where their worlds might not seem so far apart. Zara left Earth with a new mission, carrying with her the lessons of heart and humanity, determined to ignite a change on Xylar, inspired by a planet teeming with life's messy, beautiful complexities. And back on Earth, Jake watched the stars, waiting for the day the sky might bring her back to him.